save it for the show.
Save it for the show.
Okay. Everybody's just waiting for him to die.
No, save it for the show. Save it for the show.
H can save.
Put on your clothes.
Call this episode Vince McMahon is an asshole.
Something like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Brad, how did you get introduced to wrestling?
Oh yeah. So I grew up with 4 brothers in the same house, and brothers wrestle and mess around, and the 90s were the glory days of wrestling.
Yeah, dude. You know what's crazy? Yeah. And as we're coming at you, Ayo, Diametric Convergence, start a new one here. Just in case you didn't know. Yeah. We're not the bad guys, but we'll talk about them.
What a gimmick, though. I mean, he was a cocaine dealer.
Yeah.
I never realized that when I was a kid, but definitely.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
I don't think Vince knew that either, because I don't think he would have put it on TV in the 90s.
No. But, dude, fucking Scott Hall's a legend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one of the best, like most iconic people of this era.
And behind the scenes,
yeah.
A lot of people don't know how much Scott Hall's done. I mean, I'm pretty sure he gave DDP his finisher. I think he gave a lot of people their finishers and names, and doesn't really take credit for it. He's just kind of humble about it.
Yeah, dude, I heard that. Yeah, I think I heard that too, as far as giving like people like that and giving them ideas on how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you should try this, and then like it ends up working and being like really great. Also one of the best selling of a stunner I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Dude, that dude could sell. He was a great worker though.
Yeah, and it's cool that he got his life together. I wish somebody would give him a job in wrestling, because he's got a hell of a mind for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's left of it anyway? Like he got pretty bad there.
Yeah, I mean, he was in that DDP documentary with Jake the Snake, and it seems like both of them have taken to the rehab and cleaned their act up.
Yeah, definitely. Like I follow him. I follow Scott Hall on Twitter. He's like one of the few people I follow that actually went out and said, "Hey, I'd like to see what he's doing." So he's on there. He used to be on there. He's not as active as he used to be, but he I don't know. There was a moment there for a while. He like put up some like really suspicious things that like very nonsensical and kind of out there. Like kind of warns like, oh shit, is this dude like relapsing or what? But I think he ended I'm not sure what happened about it, but he's like, I think he's still doing pretty good from last I've heard.
Yeah, and that's kind of the attraction of wrestling, is the car crashes, and seeing these people you watched on TV and just watching what their life is now 30 years ago. And some of these guys are still bent out of shape about like outcomes of matches, which is absolutely ridiculous, because it's all preordained, and they know that.
Right. I mean, for the most part, it certainly is. I mean, not everybody's in on the ending all the time, though. I mean, obviously you can look at like the Montreal Screwjob,
right?
That was like preordained, but not unbeknownst to Bret Hart.
Yeah, and sometimes both sides didn't know. Back in the old days, they used to tell both guys they were going to win. They watch them kick each other's ass.
Right? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, wrestling's crazy. It was great back in the 90s, and even before the 90s.
The 80s were fantastic.
Yeah. And, he just kind of grew up, like Brad was saying. We all grew up together, and we were just throwing each other around, doing, like you said, stone cold stunners and
characters.
All kinds of different moves, and ladder matches, and jumping off the top ropes, and using the bunk beds and whatever we had, and and just really just throwing each other around. And I'm surprised.
Right. Did you ever get to a show, go see a show live?
Yeah. I think in Fort Wayne we saw a show.
Did you go? Were you at the one that we went to?
I don't know.
I went to one where the Undertaker was there. I forget everything else about it.
We went to one at the Coliseum for WCW. It was a Monday Nitro.
I think I went to that one. I think I've been to a couple. I think I've been to a WWF and WCW.
I think I went to a Raw at the Coliseum. They used to go to the Coliseum a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Coliseum was a dope place for wrestling.
Yeah,
like back then.
Nice and small, so it seems like a big deal. It seems like more of a packed house.
Right. And man, do you watch too much like wrestling, like new wrestling these days? Like what's going on now with, I guess, the one league that's out there?
Well,
I mean, there's a couple out there, but
there's the big one, and then there's the little guy.
So what are those?
Sorry.
Yeah, there's WWE. Mm-hmm. Now there's AEW, which is like the up and coming one.
Yeah, they've been around for 2 years now.
Right. But like they're getting more popular and like building a fan base. But I mean, there's a shit ton out there though.
So you guys are saying WCW is gone?
Well, WCW.
Yeah, since like out 2000. Yeah.
Okay. And when
like you buried that,
what were you? Because I think Brad said he's been to a Nitro and a Raw.
And just a Raw.
I've been to both and. Were you guys like specific on WWE? Back then it was WWF, but now it's changed to WWE because the World Wildlife Foundation, I believe.
Yeah, they made them change the name, which I think if they could have both just had that acronym. I don't really understand that.
I say go wildlife.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't hate the wildlife. I just don't know why they couldn't share an acronym.
And then you got WCW.
I just don't like the way WWE sounds opposed to WWF. I still call it WWF.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah,
it's like whatever WWEF, whatever.
But as far as favorites, I don't think I really had one. I don't think I even knew they were different companies when I was really young. Because you'd see Hulk Hogan on WWF, then a year later he'd be on WCW. So it'd be, for a 6-year-old kid or whatever, it'd be pretty confusing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If I had one, I mean, for a while, it was definitely, I mean, probably for a while, leaned more towards WCW when NWO started going on.
WCW adult.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I was the same way, Andrew. Like
NWO was the shit. Like that was one of the coolest like times in wrestling ever.
Oh yeah.
For like people like in that, I guess growing up with that, obviously like the 80s and 70s, early 90s were a whole different like crowd, but like in growing up and like coming into wrestling, like that was like the time because that was at its peak popularity.
Yeah,
that's when like it was all going off.
The closest thing in the 80s would be like the Four Horsemen or something. It's not even really a comparison. It's just
right.
And then
I bring up like today stuff, right? Because I like to look back at like the crowds. Like the crowds are so different. Like if you look at the two different like times, like back in the late, like mid early 90s, like you look into the crowds and like any of the shows, and I mean it's just like a sea of people like never sitting down with just like cardboard, like the signs like everywhere, like everybody had a sign,
right?
Like, it was just it was just like a sea of like homemade signs and shit like that. Like now it's not even near that level. I mean, obviously now it's a virtual crowd.
It's a publicly traded company now too.
So
they can't.
Do they just
get away with as much?
Do they just put people out in the crowd now?
They have like video screens. It's really
it's like a large Zoom.
I haven't really watched a full episode.
There's no one in the crowd.
Time. Not at all, obviously. I mean, AEW has people right now
because of COVID.
Yeah.
Whoa! I did not know that.
Well, for when it first happened, like they were doing it, so they do a lot of like WWE does a lot of their shows.
I guess you
out at Full Sail.
Yeah.
And that when they first had to when they first were able to start going again, they had like minimal people in the crowd. I think NXT still has people in the crowds.
I think they're putting the roster in the crowd just to have something.
Oh, what about UFC?
UFC, I haven't watched anything. I don't think they have crowds though.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're on that fight island anyway. So I mean, if there's crowds, it's all staff.
Yeah, and the AEW is getting around it because the Jacksonville Jaguars owner owns them, so they can use the Jag Stadium to do outdoor events.
Yep.
So, and that's why they're the most legitimate competition to WWF or WWE in a long time, because they're backed by a billionaire. It's not just some outlaw mud show company that's trying to compete with WWE.
Right.
They're getting legitimate talent, guys like Jericho, and they got Jake the Snake behind the scenes. They got up and coming people like Kenny Omega. MJF's a 22-year-old kid with crazy talent. He's going to be one of the best heels in wrestling if he keeps it up. So there's hope for AEW. It's a different landscape now. It's hard to be as enthusiastic as we were when we were kids.
Right. Yeah. It's just just a different show. It's just the atmosphere is different. Yeah. And just how they present it and the way it codes about it's so different because that and a lot of the kayfabe has died out, right? With the prominence of social media and just everybody connected all the time, internet. There's just no way to hide.
Yeah, and that's most of my interaction with wrestling is, the backstories behind it now, listening to these guys tell stories about it and knowing that, some of my favorite wrestlers were drug addicts and just horrible people behind the scenes,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, I loved him, and he was a terrible person by all accounts to everybody,
Right.
And, I try to separate the man from the wrestler. Obviously, Hulk Hogan said all that racist stuff years ago, but I still respect his place in the hierarchy, on the Mount Rushmore, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not a contribution you can ignore just because he says some dumb shit. You gotta separate that because there's two different people almost, because Hulk Hogan's a character that he plays and is part of him, but Terry Hogan's just him. Or Terry, what's his last name?
Balea,
that's right.
When he was in that Gawker lawsuit, it seemed like he had trouble separating Hogan from Terry.
Yeah.
Because he's like, are you talking about Hogan here or are you talking about Terry? When they asked him a question, and it was kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All those old, you see him on TV, on talk shows or whatever, on late night shows. Those are kind of cool interviews with all the old wrestlers like Hogan and Macho and Ultimate Warrior. They're fun to look back at.
Yeah, and seeing the people that, we should explain what kayfabe is. Kayfabe's back in the day, they used to not acknowledge that wrestling's fake, basically. So,
yeah, they'd slap people for it, trying to ask them about it. Yeah,
they would mess you up legitimately if you made the business look bad, and that went completely away in the 90s thanks to Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Diesel, and Aldo Montoya, who people forget about.
So wait,
and
Triple H.
Kayfabe, is that a thing or
kayfabe?
Yeah,
it's the industry term for
keeping the illusion, of wrestling. That was in kayfabe. If I
where did that come from?
It's Carney speak.
Well, where did they get the name?
Wrestling started on traveling carnivals. It got popular because
so it's like hush hush type thing.
It's just Carney speak. It was a secret language. Yeah. But a lot of wrestling is Carney speak.
So wait, you're saying that people held up to it until the mid 90s and it kind of fell apart?
Pretty much. There's some talk show events where Dave Schultz slaps the shit out of some guy, or John Stossel, because he's like, that's all fake, and Dave Schultz told him not to ask him if wrestling was fake, and he was being cool to him behind the scenes, and the first thing they did when they opened up the camera is he asked him if wrestling's fake.
Yeah, and that dude's seriously loyal to the kayfabe and just the industry in general. He's like, you're not gonna. Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna. I was like, I'm not gonna break character for you. He's like, you're gonna get it. So
legitimate badass dude. He doesn't just play a wrestler. I mean, he's a bounty hunter in real life. So
yeah.
I wouldn't mess with that guy. I saw that on Dark Side of the Ring, which was a great, series. Get everybody, all these old school people back into what they used to like. I guess I'm not expecting anybody to watch Raw or SmackDown or anything, but it's just interesting to look back on the stuff we watched.
Yeah, because they were so good at like keeping all that backstage stuff backstage and just selling the product.
Even if they were worse people, they were drug addicts and definitely not role models. Nowadays, these guys are a little better about that, and because they have to be with social media. But they're still jerks. There's still guys that use their clout to take advantage of people, but they get called out for it a lot sooner.
Right, definitely.
So you guys name a few people like Shawn Michaels and Dave Schultz. I don't really know who he is, but
Dr. D, he's super old school. I don't remember watching him wrestle at all. I know about his legacy through podcasts and stuff.
So who are you guys' favorites when you were actually watching?
Definitely Shawn Michaels. I mean, the guy was super had crazy charisma and really wasn't much of a talker looking back on it, because I've watched like 86 to 96 or something of WWF. There was this guy on YouTube that had everything, and he really was a terrible talker, but for some reason he was just a very popular wrestler and just drug people in.
He was a sexy boy.
He was a sexy boy.
He could work though too. Like that's kind of where a lot of his popularity come from. Like his matches were just good.
Yeah. He just, that super kick was amazing. A lot of people do that move today, and it's not very impressive. But for some reason, Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music was just really awesome finisher.
Yep, I'm glad he stuck with it, because I think there was at one point he had like that was like the setup though.
Yeah.
The sweet chin music was a setup.
Oh really? It wasn't a special back in the day?
It was like a leg drop, wasn't it? Like Billy Gunn used to do this thing where he would like put both of his legs over your head and like clamshell it. And I think that's what he did. It was called the rocker dropper.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Because I just saw this like the other day, because I watch shit ton of videos on YouTube. It's like my second favorite thing to do on YouTube. But it is like, I don't know, it was like that, or it was like some kind of like weak suplex. I forget though for sure. But yeah, my favorite was Undertaker, like for sure.
Yeah.
Just his whole persona and his gimmick was just like really intrigued me, and that whole Ministry of Darkness bit was awesome.
And the cool thing about him is he didn't need the belt to be a powerful force. He didn't have to be the champion. He was just, he was Undertaker. It was always cool. Even when he was doing that like kind of biker gang thing, it was still cool.
Right. I mean, he didn't like it as much, but like he was still, yeah. You still like liked him, and like he still made good matches, and his promos were good and all that shit.
Yeah. And that's a guy that never broke kayfabe. I mean, he would beat the Undertaker everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's
even into this day and age, like you rarely will see him out of character if he's being like photographed.
Now that he retired.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
Oh, me? Sting.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's why I was into WCW too. He was similar to Shawn Michaels in a way, but more of a darker.
He evolved, He had Surfer Sting, and then you had Crow Sting.
Right. I liked him.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool transformation that came at the right time.
And they totally acknowledged that they just stole that Crow gimmick.
Yeah.
That it was 100% based on the Crow, like the black long hair,
of course,
baseball bat thing. Why wouldn't you?
No, it's dope, and nobody really cared that they did. It's like he made it work though.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he could have done it if it was any other paint or in a baseball bat too.
Well, it's another guy that couldn't talk very well, but was an incredible wrestler. So giving him a gimmick where he didn't talk and he was brooding was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yep. I forget whose idea it was to do like the white face paint.
Razor.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right.
It's
oh
Razor.
man,
Yeah.
that's right. It's so many contributions.
Yeah,
Like, that's an amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing idea. Like that was just perfect for the time.
That made him the biggest wrestler WCW had because he never left. Everybody else bounced back and forth, but Sting stayed.
Yep.
And he was kind of punished for that once WWF bought WCW.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think he really wanted to go over to WWF though.
Yeah.
He was a WCW lifer.
He was really good friends with Warrior, and he didn't like the way that he was treated.
So he never popped over to WWF?
No.
He did. Eventually.
He did?
I thought
eventually he did.
Later in life, yeah.
Yeah, later in life.
Yeah, WWE.
Several years later.
Yeah.
But no, he was still,
He was with TNA for a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of the older guys
you can't blame him. It went away, right? I mean, WCW.
Yeah, he had nowhere. I mean, he wasn't going to go anywhere else.
Whatever their contracts were, they got paid for.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're all guaranteed.
That's why a lot of them didn't come back right away because they got paid to do nothing.
Right.
Yep.
Like guys like Booker T took a chance by coming back immediately.
Cool
yeah, Booker's awesome.
Yeah, Harley was. They were both great.
One of my favorite promos is where Booker T accidentally calls Hulk Hogan the N word. On live television. It's really funny.
That was a good one. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, Booker T calls Hogan that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I'm coming to get you, blank.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
They aired it?
It was on live TV, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Booker immediately turns around and he's embarrassed, but yeah.
Talks.
Yeah, me.
Not nearly as bad as the time McMahon dropped a bomb like that.
No, and he's allowed to.
Oh, he did the same thing?
Yeah, but on purpose.
Of course, he's trying to get ratings.
Oh, it's
he's an asshole because he was like talking to John Cena and like
Vince is an asshole.
I don't know. He is an asshole.
Yeah, that's right.
But he is
brilliant.
He's brilliant.
He's genius. He grew. He was born in a trailer park. You know, it's something that gets overlooked. His dad made himself a millionaire, but Vince, multiplied that way more than anybody could have imagined.
Yep.
Because his dad didn't like what he did with the WWF. He didn't like the direction he went. He didn't like that he was buying his competition and stuff. He thought that was a huge mistake and somebody was going to kill him. Because that's serious shit. You didn't mess with somebody's territory.
Yeah.
It's like like a lot of things, you just don't step on people's toes. So Vince going to Memphis and upstate New York was looked down upon.
For sure. But he's like, I mean, yeah, he's definitely brilliant. It's a good thing he has the people in place around him that he had. Because I think there was like some of the gimmicks that he didn't want to do that people still like, they still like, dude, you really ought to do this. And they worked out like really good. I know that's happened a few times. I can't really remember too much.
A great example is the Undertaker was Vince's idea.
Right.
So that's spot on, but he's had some terrible ones for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Owen.
The Shockmaster.
That was WCW.
Oh, that's right.
You can't put that one on him.
But I don't know. Owen was a mistake. I mean, what he did with Owen.
Oh, the tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they made him the Blue Blazer, but that was his old thing. It was just kind of a comedy thing.
Right.
Like he didn't want to do the Gangrel thing.
What's that?
Gangrel, like the Brood.
Oh, yeah.
Gangrel's like the vampire.
Yeah, that was over. I mean, you got your nickname from that, didn't you? Or that's Draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why did you have the nickname Draws? Because Darren Drozdov's not like this the top 100 wrestler I would think of when I'm,
Right. I don't like that's a weird story because it didn't really come from that.
Okay.
It's kind of like separate. It just happened to be like they kind of came about at about the same time.
Oh, I always conflated the two.
Yeah. No. So I mean, just because it came from Andros, like someone like like that, just
Star Fox.
Yeah. So
got it.
Something like that. Yeah. So it was more like around that kind of.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
school.
Old school.
yeah, what Draws was like in the what are they called? The what
Pre-phones. Pre-cell phone.
Oh,
era.
it was the
Moshers or whatever.
the oddities or something. Yeah, the Mosher, the Headbangers.
Headbangers, yeah.
And he was with the Legion of Doom for a second.
Right, he was in there for a little bit, but that's kind of like
As
he
puke.
was like puke. Yeah, that's what to say.
That
puke.
was one of Vince's terrible ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how he got in there though, because he like said, "Hey, I can puke on command," and like, show me.
That's in that Wrestling with Shadows documentary. No, that's the Brett one. There's another one, Beyond the Mat.
Your name now is Puke.
Yeah, yeah, he's gotta puke. That's a classic clip from that Beyond the Mat.
Please, sir, no puke. Don't puke on me, sir.
But yeah, Vince was brilliant. Now I think he's just, his mental faculties are withering, and somebody needs to get him the hell out of there.
Yeah,
It's clear that he's still in control of some of the creative, and it just doesn't make sense. It's outdated. And
come on, man.
yeah, and he's kind of like, yeah, just doing whatever. But
well, I haven't watched him enough. He seems like he's just like trying too hard at this point.
And you would watch him if it was something that was worth watching.
Yeah.
So that's a good,
I guess my other favorite though was Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kevin Nash was awesome.
he is good.
I mean, I remember liking Dean Malenko a lot for some reason.
Oh, I like Dean. That's probably why.
Jericho, obviously. Jericho was awesome in the 90s.
Yeah, dude, like WCW's whole cruiserweight division was dope.
Oh, yeah.
That was way before its time. And
Juventud Guerrero and Ultimate Dragon.
Psychosis.
Yeah.
Billy Kidman.
Yeah. Kidman's the only guy that's ever beat Hogan 3 times.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio
Fun
Jr.
fact.
and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chavo.
Chavo, yep.
I've met 2 wrestlers.
Parka.
That was pretty cool.
You've met some legitimately popular wrestlers.
Yeah. I've worked out with Bobby Lashley, who's like one of the most badass.
He's
person
still on
now.
TV today. Yeah, he's
And the Boogeyman, and they're both beasts, and they were like
Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman's famous because during the Trump angle, Trump wouldn't sell for him. And so he I've seen interviews where he was like pissed about that because he's supposed to be feared, and Trump was just like
taking the hits.
No, Trump was just like not acting scared and stuff when
not selling it, selling that shit out of the entire promo.
So he was kind of sour about that, and I'm not.
Man, that guy, his name's Marty Wright. He's a really nice guy, actually. He's really nice.
Yeah, I didn't even watch back then, so I'm not really that familiar with his stuff beyond the Trump angle.
I stopped watching it before he came along.
Yeah.
So I had no clue who these guys were. If I had a clue, if I was still watching wrestling, I would have been starstruck.
Well, Bobby was involved in the Trump angle too, weirdly enough. That's kind of weird.
I didn't even watch when Trump was in there, weirdly enough. But I just kind of stopped. Way back when, probably in high school.
Like 2002 or something like that. I think we all did.
But so later when I came
girls instead of wrestling or something.
When I came to Colorado, I met Bobby Lashley, and he introduced me to Marty Wright, the Boogeyman.
Oh, so they knew each other.
Yeah, no, they were good friends. Yeah. They were friends. And,
I guess they would know.
They worked out together, and they pushed me so hard, and I've never been in more pain from working out in my life. We do the P90X, but wait, no, you can't just do the P90X. We got to do the worm across the gym 8 times, 8,000 times, and then do like 5 other of his workouts. And that guy works hard, man. I give him props. I stopped going to the gym because I started massage school, and it was just way too much for me to do both, which I should have, but I was a wimp. So, yeah.
I mean, compared to those 2 guys, like especially Bobby Lashley, man, dude is jacked.
That guy's a monster.
He's yelling in my face, man. It's crazy. Like, get up. And I respect him for it. I love him for it.
Yeah, the most recent thing they've done with him was pretty lame. They had like some weird cuck angle.
Yeah. I have no. I don't talk to him anymore.
Where he was banging some dude's wife, and it was just they could do so much more with him.
Hell
the guy
Bobby.
looks like Black Superman.
That's what's up, dude, man.
Well, see, and now the one thing I'll give to like stuff today, like the shows today, is that the people are like the wrestlers are just way more athletic.
Oh yeah,
like stuff they do is just like way more high octane. Like just the moves and like the spots that they do.
Right.
Just
you don't have.
They're like just high powered and they're like full force and fast.
It's not the muscle men anymore. It's
or just like the giants. Like we forgot to mention Andre the Giant. I guess he goes unmentioned.
He goes without saying,
and
for
Hogan
sure.
and all those
Hogan
greats.
and Andre are
Flair
beyond the spectrum of wrestling.
Flair has his.
Flair's amazing.
Yeah,
dude would never got away with the
shit
he got away with today. Yeah, but some of the shit he's done and stories you hear, I mean, that dude should be in jail.
Yeah, he got kicked out of a bar here at Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he called
harassing the bartender
hog or something.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, that was a story.
Flair.
I don't know the girl. I don't know if you guys do.
He's probably wasted.
That's what they say.
He don't drink anymore. He's an older guy. But.
Yeah, he was on what was it, 30 for 30 or something.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. That was good.
Yeah, the ESPN thing.
Yeah,
talking about him flashing everybody on the plane and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Though some of the stuff the guy got away with. I mean, he wouldn't ever be able to do it now.
Well, times are changed
for sure. Yeah,
he probably wouldn't do that now. Hopefully,
yeah. I think he would.
Did you guys hear the story about Andre drinking like a 12-pack of beer in like 30 minutes or something?
Oh, like 100 beers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shit ton.
More beer than makes sense.
Like a 40 case or something.
Yeah, it was like 40 some beers.
They say that Andre couldn't use toilets, so he had to use the bathtubs. Sorry for that imagery, but
we'll have to blur that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that job.
Yeah. Dang. That's crazy. That dude was huge.
And then you got Jake the Snake Roberts, who I guess lost one of his Cobras on at one of the matches in the toilet, and he couldn't find it, and I guess it's might be still living in the toilet.
Yeah, it got the piping of the building.
Yeah.
So I forget who was saying it, but it's like every time I sat down in that toilet, I was like, it was going to come shooting back up.
It's crazy.
But Jake by far has the best DDT I've ever seen in my life. It's just so violent looking. I mean, it's the snap. It's awesome, and he
has hair, so he can
whip it back.
Yeah,
that might be why I have long hair. I don't know. Maybe that rubbed off on me,
or maybe just grow.
Didn't he originate that though? Was that his?
It was his. Yeah, he's the one that made it popular. At least
made it popular. Yeah,
made whether he actually invented it, but he is credited as the inventor.
He could do it very well.
Guy that I forget his name that supposedly invented it, but Jake did it better than anybody.
Right.
Yeah, and is that your favorite special move?
I would say so. Yeah. If you wanted like a submission move, I guess it would be Brett's sharpshooter because that's so classic. I mean, like my least favorite sharpshooter would be The Rock.
Sting sharpshooter.
Yeah, Sting, the Scorpion Deathlock, I think.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's pretty much the same move.
I believe.
Just a little bit different, but yeah. But The Rock sharpshooter is notoriously horrible.
It's bad.
It's one of the loosest.
Think of him as sharpshooter, yeah.
That's he used it a lot, but he shouldn't have.
No.
Owen tried to show him how to do it right too when he was with the Nation of Domination, and just didn't take because Owen's the real creator of the sharpshooter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Owen's good.
Owen, yeah,
was great.
I didn't really appreciate him back then, but the guy was amazing. He could do standing backflips as a 250-pound man.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
It's wild.
He was good. Mine would be the power bomb. That was always my favorite move, but like the jackknife power bomb was my favorite.
Diesel variety.
Yeah,
with the layout,
like in the WCW, because he didn't. I mean, it wasn't as good. He like developed it better once he got into WCW.
Right, he wasn't that great in WWF.
No,
yet.
And then I think my favorite finisher, or submission, is the Walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the Lion Tamer.
I think it's the same move.
No, they're different.
Oh.
Walls of Jericho, so the Lion Tamer is when he puts them up on their neck, like head and neck, and puts his knee into their back. Then like the Walls of Jericho, just kind of like just a standard Boston Crab.
That's pretty good.
But I like the Lion Tamer, just the way it looked like, which is how he had them like held up, like stretched back on their heads,
And Jericho is so good, man.
He's still doing it today.
Yeah, Jericho is pretty great. I loved his everything. He was a dickhead sometimes.
He's a way better heel. Yeah.
He's great at being a heel.
He's been a heel with AEW, and that's like the only stuff I really enjoy watching about AEW is the Jericho stuff for a while.
Yep, he had a great feud with Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah,
in WCW, dude. Because he was just the bad guy, and he was just a complete asshole. And
Malenko, he had the list.
Yeah.
Armbar. He like every 10th move was armbar. Remember, he had the list of all because Malenko was the man of 1,000 holds.
Right.
The Jericho came out and he was like, "I'm the man of 1,001 holds." He'd be like, "Boston Crab, camel clutch, armbar. He just kept saying armbar. It was so freaking funny.
Yeah, that was great. He is a great talker.
Oh yeah,
his promos were always just amazing.
Yeah, he just celebrated his 30th anniversary in wrestling the other day.
Damn,
that's a lot of wear and tear. Even if it's not real, you're still taking real bumps.
Dude,
it's crazy.
I'm trying to think what mine would be. I can't really think of them.
Favorite finisher?
Yeah, I like the. The Razor Edge was tight. Yeah, that I knew that one. I was able to do that to Brad, and I think the Scorpion Death Drop.
Yep, that's a pile driver. I think.
No, it was more like that was more like a rock.
Okay.
Reverse DDT.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. You're right.
Jump up behind them, grab them by their tuck their head under his arm and drop them down the back of their head.
Yeah, that was tight. I also do the ankle lock pretty good. So
nice. That's a good one.
And that would really hurt, because Kurt Angle was a legitimate badass. So that he could break your leg if he wanted to.
It works. Yeah. I could have broke that person's leg.
Yeah.
In 2 minutes. It was insane. I didn't even.
When you put that kind of torque on a joint that's not supposed to turn that way.
Nope. No, bust out your knee and your ankle.
I think he broke Brock Lesnar's leg with that on an accident.
No, he was just a beast, man. He's a beast. I mean, he was an actual fighter,
Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Kurt Angle. He is a badass too.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Olympic gold.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Brock won gold.
Well, Brock was in UFC. He won a belt.
For sure. Yeah. But
that dude Brock, he trained on the farms.
Another guy I should mention, I guess, as far as the favorite wrestlers is Rob Van Dam. Really love him. Really love him. He's an advocate for the marijuana industry outside of wrestling, which I really appreciate. He understands the business. He knows that he didn't have to be the champion. He didn't cry about that. He was a good dude. He was ahead of his time.
Amazing.
Oh, 5-star frog splash.
He had some of the best.
Do that rolling thunder move, the move where he throws the chair at you, you catch it, and then he kicks you in the head.
The Van Daminator.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a lot of good stuff.
Oh, I love him. He's great. And he's from Michigan, so gotta rep our Michigan guys. Trained by the
right.
Trained with Sabu.
Yeah, ECW, man. That was a league.
There's madness.
Yeah.
Watching that Dark Side of the Ring. I never knew much about New Jack, but Jesus,
I couldn't watch.
Yeah, I'd heard about him.
Oh God,
not to that extent though, dude.
Some of those parts were crazy.
That mass transit thing with that overweight kid is just,
dude. Oh man, yeah,
that's horrible.
That is crazy. But like, like I'm pretty sure like everybody knew about New Jack at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's
kind of stupid. Like, tell New Jack to slice you open. Like, hey man, blame me. You probably New Jack.
No better.
It's ratings. They wanted the ratings. They didn't think that.
I don't even think they were on TV. Like they were doing tapings for VHSs.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was that kid's idea. The kid like, yeah.
Right. It was the kid's idea, but you can't just.
Because I don't think they were syndicated at that point. They might have been. They were for a brief moment, but that wasn't very long.
I think it was just like a house show or a dark show. I'm not sure.
Trading really that made ECW the powerhouse that it was.
That's like throwing someone to the wolves. You know?
It was who?
Tape trading.
Yeah.
Videotapes. People would trade videotapes of wrestling matches.
Yep.
That's why Vince has a catalog of all everything from everything that he's bought and makes a fortune off that.
Yeah.
Which Eric Bischoff had a chance to buy for $1 million and didn't.
Yeah.
Bet he's kicked himself.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one to have.
He's made his investment back, 100-fold.
Yep.
I think that's a big reason why they became a publicly traded company, because that increased their value a whole bunch.
Yep.
Did New Jack, was he ever in like WWE or CW?
I don't think so. Vince would have never hired him in a million years.
He wasn't in WCW either. I mean, he went and did some like independent
Didn't
circuits.
he get cut or something? Someone cut him?
He like stabbed a dude.
Or he stabbed a dude, yeah.
Yeah, he stabbed a dude, and like it was like in a gym with like 13 people watching. He just like started stabbing this dude.
He's a madman, yeah.
Yeah.
His head looks like a cutting board. I mean, it's
because he's
gruesome to look at.
He sliced himself open so many times, and just all other kind of abuse he's put himself through.
And that's a good thing that's went away. I think it's madness that these people razor bladed themselves on purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't do that at all when I was a kid, but I think that's so freaking crazy. I mean, how?
Yeah. Like I was never really a fan of like the blood and all that kind of stuff.
I didn't need
Me either.
it.
It wasn't like I have to see the blood.
ECW, I get where it had its place there. I get it. It's the hardcore thing.
And that's why we watched ECW.
It wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you'd buy a videotape at Walmart or something after.
I wasn't into the beating the hell out. Like, Mick Foley is a badass, but
there was good dudes in ECW. I mean,
he went too far sometimes too.
Stone Cold Steve Austin went to ECW before WWF. And that gets overlooked a lot. There's been people that Chris Jericho went to ECW. There's been people that have benefited from it and had legitimate, real like WWF, WCW style matches there.
Oh yeah,
without all the Gaga and
the Dudleys
weapons and stuff. The Dudleys changed up their act because they were a total Gaga weapons
right
thing.
They had to get more serious.
Like Dudley's name was an LSD reference.
Yeah.
So there was things they had to change. And Bubba Ray had a Tourette's gimmick, so they had to get rid of that because he would just, swear all the time.
Yeah.
I got like a stuttering Tourette's thing going on.
That's good.
I don't remember much of Devon's talking back then, but.
And then you got Stone Cold came in as Santa Claus.
Oh, and Stone Cold came in as the ringmaster.
But he came back as Santa Claus.
Came back as Santa Claus?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Stone Cold is Santa Claus?
Sorry, kids. Yeah,
I don't remember
if you
that.
didn't
Like
know,
it's like a show that he did.
No, that's how he came back. Like after the Ringmaster, and they were introducing him as Stone Cold. It kind of like he like hit himself with the Santa Claus uniform, and he was like the Santa Claus for a couple 1 week or 2 weeks.
I know they wanted his name to be Chili McFreeze, legitimately.
I don't know if
Stone Cold has said this.
I don't know if he revealed it like after 1 or 2 like interference type of things where he comes in and like messes with the match.
It could have happened. I just don't remember it.
Yeah. He came in as Santa Claus.
From what I understand, Stone Cold became the Stone Cold 316 and all that stuff, beer drinking redneck. It was a Jake the Snake feud because Jake the Snake was coming back as a born again Christian. And he was like, we talk about the 316 and the revelations, and he's like, well, Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. And that was to Jake the Snake.
Yep.
Did Jake really quit back then, or did he quit later too?
Jake was a crackhead and no one would hire him.
So he wasn't a born again anything.
He definitely didn't quit for good at that point. No. But he might have been attempting. I don't know him personally, but
yeah,
it didn't work out.
I like him.
I love him. Yeah,
good.
I'm glad he's got his crap back together, and he's got a job with AEW as a manager, and him and Arn Anderson. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he does well. I'm sure he could help with promos because I think he's the best promo in the game, best talker. I mean.
And gimmicks. I mean,
the snake was incredible.
Yeah, like let's talk about favorite gimmicks. I mean, the snake. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think anything really beats the snake.
Yeah, that's like
Gold Dust, I guess, is a gimmick in itself.
Yeah,
I think that's a really cool gimmick that I definitely didn't appreciate back then. How the balls to do that.
No, that was a hell of a gimmick to do at the time, and just the way he did it was awesome. Like, yeah, looking back on it, obviously not a whole lot of people appreciated it for what it was in its time. But looking back on it, you can definitely appreciate it.
I mean, they chanted homophobic slurs at him all the time, and Dustin Rhodes just had to take that. The whole Rhodes family was given crappy gimmicks by Vince as a punishment. It seems because they were rival territory back in the day. They made Dusty wear black and yellow polka dots when he was the most popular wrestler in the 80s, even over Hogan. And then they gave Dustin Rhodes the Gold Dust thing as kind of a joke to him, and he made it work.
Yep.
But you gotta appreciate Dustin Rhodes getting that over, because I don't think many people could have. Because Dustin Rhodes didn't even get Dustin Rhodes over. I mean,
right.
Nobody really liked him as him. So. Yeah, it was kudos to him. And then Cody Rhodes, same deal.
Cody Rhodes,
the younger brother, they made him like Stardust, and he was like some spaceman Martian thing. Just stupid as hell.
But he's done all right for himself though, as Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is an amazing wrestler. That's every AEW match he has is really good.
Yeah,
and he's really spearheaded the whole AEW thing. It's him, Jericho, and Kenny Omega in this tag team called the Young Bucks, basically, is like the core of how it all started. And I'm not too hot on the Young Bucks. Not really big on Kenny Omega either, but I appreciate those guys. Cody had a crazy match with his brother, though, Goldust. Really vicious looking match like a year ago. Didn't think Goldust had it in him.
Dang, I have to check that out. Or if there's video of that somewhere.
Yeah, there's like 20 years between the brothers. I mean, I think Cody's probably about my age, probably 30 or maybe 29 or something.
So, what other gimmicks are out there that we can say would be a favorite?
Well, we already mentioned Razor Ramon, right?
Not really. You can mention him. Yeah, Razor. I mean, we did momentarily.
Yeah.
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 Just a
great of Tony Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Cocaine
good point.
dealer with a razor
Yeah.
his gear.
I didn't put it together back then.
I didn't. Nobody did. It's amazing.
Wow.
There's another thing I didn't put together.
That's great.
A gimmick I liked is Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
But he was a Native American gimmick. And I had no idea about that.
No, that's a hard one.
Didn't realize that he was supposed to be a Native American thing.
Hey, a warrior's a warrior, man.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knew what a warrior was.
Yeah. I mean, that's a guy that.
It's mainly Native American. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he'd say like, I came from the mountains and like be real mystic, weird stuff. And I guess it was supposed to be some kind of Native American thing.
Oh, like a shaman or something.
Yeah. But Warrior is a super weird dude. So his promos are like really hard to understand. Yeah. Like snorts and stuff. I won't imitate that. But yeah. Really gross sounding.
You know.
But I loved him back in the day. And, you know, he was something that the adults back then hated him, but kids loved him.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He had all the riddles, man. All the like.
He's like just like super baby face though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like what is it? What do they call it? Like pure baby? I don't forget like what the actual term is.
Oh shoot, white meat baby face.
Yeah.
No, he's not really that. But there's a famous incident where he came back to WCW and he was supposed to have like a 5-minute promo, and he went for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff is just staring at him because Bischoff's holding the mic, and it's before Bischoff is acknowledged as like the boss or whatever, and you could just see him getting pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Bischoff.
That's funny.
Yeah, no one.
My favorite gimmick. What?
No one ever liked Bischoff.
They weren't supposed to.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was good at being an asshole.
Yeah,
he was.
It's another Michigan guy.
Okay, I give him that.
He was brilliant too, though. Like he did WCW was like changed the industry.
And he started as a commentator. You know, he worked his way up. So
okay, we're gonna take a quick break, get you back to the discussion about wrestling. But first, we're gonna give you a little bit of a musical interlude. For this episode, we have a song by the band My Dog Jr. The song is called Junior, from their first studio album, Lumbercana. Have a listen. Hopefully you enjoy, and we will see you on the other side of the song.
Got to appreciate that. Went from male model to wrestling commentator to boss of an entire wrestling federation.
Wrestler.
Yeah, not really.
He wrestled a little bit.
He didn't really do it as much. He wrestled in the 80s. He was a legitimate kickboxer.
Yeah. So you said some of your favorite gimmicks, Andrew?
Yeah, I think like one of them was Kane's original gimmick.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We have
that whole storyline was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, just how he was supposed to be
Paul Bearer and everything.
Well, Undertaker's original name was Kane the Undertaker when he was introduced, so it's interesting that they went back to that name.
Just him and Undertaker did some cool stuff, like with all the fire and all the smoke, and
he was legitimately scary.
From the ring, from underneath the ring.
Yep.
All kinds of crazy stuff they did.
Lights and all that kind of like always turn out the lights and
right. You feel something when Undertaker came.
Yeah, you hear that graveyard music and the bell toll and
the death bell, like the bell tolls, all that kind of
like
stuff.
The Undertaker pop.
Yeah, people couldn't take that away. They couldn't steal that. They tried, but it didn't really work.
No.
The way Undertaker did it.
Yeah, and Kane
too.
Kane was a great dude. Ugly as hell. It's a good thing they put the mask on him because they tried to get him over as Isaac Yankem.
Yankem.
They tried to get him over as Fake Diesel. So they tried a lot of things with him, and Kane really, that definitely stuck.
Yeah, but the good part about like that though is that the build up to it, like you just don't see that kind of like storytelling nowadays. Just how they built that whole thing up just over time with just teasing and Paul Bearer threatening Undertaker, I'm going to release your secret. I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Just like weeks and weeks just building on it. Then just finally, Hell in a Cell, here comes this dude, huge, red and black with a mask on,
right?
Rips the door off the cell and just beats the shit out of the Undertaker. Like,
the long black.
They did that perfect. Like, they was just like the way they booked it was amazing.
And I think Mankind was incorporated in that a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was definitely in there.
With obviously that Mankind thing where he gets choked through the cage, or choked through the cage and all that.
Thrown off the side,
thrown off the side into the table. I mean, Mankind's, and we haven't mentioned him, but geez.
There's a gimmick. I like that one too. Like all Mick Foley stuff. Like his.
Yeah, we mentioned him. Yeah.
So it's funny because I think like that Dude Love is like the one he really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, those videos they used in the Dude Love promos were real videos from when Mick was a kid.
Yeah, it's like his first character.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sold it.
And before that, he was Cactus Jack Manson in WCW. So he's done a lot of different things.
Yep.
And he came back to the Cactus Jack thing. Didn't have the Manson later on, obviously.
Right. But he did when he did Mankind though, he did that so well. Like, well, I mean, everything he did, he just put everything into it and was awesome at it. But that Mankind like gimmick was just awesome.
Tearing his hair out.
Squealing like a pig. Like when he put on the mandible claw, just start squealing.
For anybody else, I don't really like that as a move, but for him, for some reason, it just works.
Yeah, because it's
deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Bray Wyatt uses it these days.
Yeah, and I like Bray Wyatt.
I do like Bray Wyatt too, though. And his
Firefly Funhouse shit. And I don't know if you've seen it.
Which is it?
Did you see the thing with John Cena where he's in like a playhouse?
Oh yeah.
John Cena's in the NWO. I don't see how that's a match. They called that a match.
Yeah.
I like Bray Wyatt. He's IRS's kid, if you didn't know that.
Oh, no, didn't know that.
Yeah, Wyndham Rotunda. He's Mike Rotunda's kid.
Oh, nice.
Barry Wyndham's nephew.
He's good. I like Bray Wyatt. He does really good with his promos, and this whole Fiend thing that he's doing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's inventive. It's
different. It's not like what anybody else is really doing right now.
Yeah, it's not a short-haired white dude with brown hair and a beard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an actual character. Like they don't really do a lot of characters.
Roster, you know.
Yep. Yep. And that actually will bring me into my next point that I wanted to talk about is the women's division, like how they built that up. Like I almost enjoy like the women's side of stuff a little bit more. I mean, it's not.
It's better than it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more. Some of it's like more entertaining than some of the male stuff. I mean, it's not nearly as physical, or there's still a lot of athleticism though that happens.
It was god awful when we were growing up. It was all about the TNA and the puppies and the that stupid.
Yeah, bra and panty matches and
besides China.
Yeah, oh, she was
right. She was legitimate though.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, she was the only legitimate
but
one.
now they have some badass wrestlers. Like
she wasn't the only one. She was definitely one of the more famous ones.
Yeah,
you had Alundra Blaze was actually a really good wrestler.
Yep.
There wasn't much of them. Luna Vachon.
But now you have like Flair's daughter.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair.
She's pretty great.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. She's a real badass.
Yeah.
Oh, the man.
Oh,
can't forget the
Becky
man.
Lynch.
Becky Lynch. Yeah.
I like her. I like her voice. She's a unique girl.
She's good. I like her.
She's Irish.
But some of the Japanese wrestlers the girls they got right now are great.
Oh yeah, the one they don't have anymore though. Kairi Sane.
Kairi Sane. Yep.
Did you ever see her? Like her elbow drop finisher.
I don't recall that.
Like she does it. Her move's called the Insane Elbow.
Mm-hmm.
You should look it up. It's pretty dope. Like it's one of my favorite like finishing moves nowadays.
Yeah, they actually have a women's division now, and that's really cool. But it is better than the men's division. That's. I think that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch it.
A little more popular.
I don't watch a lot, but it's very clear. I mean, I listen to podcasts where people talk about it, and
I just don't pay attention enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ronda Rousey was in there for a while, and that definitely helped them get a lot of exposure. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
There's a girl from AEW, Britt Baker. She's hurt right now, but she's going to be really good too. And she's only like 25. She'll be around for a while.
And hopefully the UFC, is helping with that because, what happens to fighters that can't really fight at that level anymore? They go.
Well, they got Matt Riddle right now in WWF. He got suspended or I think fired for smoking weed in the UFC, which is asinine because they let those guys fail coke and human growth hormone.
You have a lot of women athletes in UFC as well, so that might be doing that too. I think it's better, honestly, that you're not like really hurting yourself or trying to, or like going to the match like, I don't know, like two lions just ready to get hurt, as opposed to wrestling where you're trying to stay.
You're working together.
So that's what I was thinking of. Shayna Baszler.
Oh, Baszler's cool. Yeah,
she's UFC. She's from UFC too.
Oh, is that right?
Yep. But she fucks people up.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, she's scary.
Yeah. But she's good.
Yeah.
She has good matches, and she's tough.
But yeah, there's no Sunnies and Sables anymore, which is a great thing.
Right.
Because I don't want that. I don't. It's not why I would watch a wrestling match or wrestling program.
Right. Because
for you with daughters and having that kind of. I don't know if they watch or not, but either way, if a little girl's watching wrestling and it's Sunny and all that, it's not as good of a role model.
Right. Well, they just had, it was like 2 years ago, I think 2018, they had like the first women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was awesome. Yeah, they brought back a bunch of girls, like a bunch of the old school girls who are actually good, like Lita and, they had like Lita and Trish Trish.
Trish was good.
Yeah, they were both real wrestlers back when it was, more about the sex appeal.
Yep. Mickey James is still wrestling.
Yep.
Who's the
Phoenix?
Yeah, Edge's wife, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, no. Who's that lady that was that Owen's wife that was really good?
Owen's wife was never a wrestler.
Benoit?
Oh, woman.
Yeah,
Nancy Benoit, or I forget what her, Nancy Sullivan before that.
Yeah, she's more old school.
She was a real good wrestler, actually. Yeah, she was legitimate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terrible what happened with her. I don't think we need to bring that up, but most people know about that.
Like what?
The Benoit tragedy.
Oh man, I watched that. What's it? The
Dark
Side, I think.
Side of the Moon, or not the moon, but the ring.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring. I watched his like the 2-parter for Benoit.
Yeah.
That shit was just
It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it was just
terrible.
It was terrible, but I mean, I couldn't like stop watching.
Yeah.
Imagine
how many concussions the guy had. His finisher was a diving headbutt.
Yeah.
Well, besides what he did, his wrestling was amazing.
He was great.
Oh yeah.
We'll leave that to the side.
That's another separating the man from the wrestler for sure.
Right, but how did it come to that? That's
it's
so crazy.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever been really explained.
Yeah, just a confluence of things, man.
Yeah. His friend was Dean Malenko at the time.
He was with Dean Malenko, Jericho.
But his best friend was like
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie?
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie was his best friend.
Eddie was definitely his best friend.
That's right.
But when Eddie died, he took it really bad. And
yeah, he never really took it. I mean, that fucked him up. And like that and the drugs and all that other stuff, just everything was kind of added up.
He loved Eddie more than he loved his wife. I mean, they had a really strong relationship.
Yeah.
They were like brothers.
Yeah.
You know? So
that was tragic.
Yeah, I couldn't fathom that.
And that's some of what's kept me just in the periphery of wrestling is just the stories that happen outside of it like that. And, I was watching a match the other day. It was an 8-man tag match, and Hulk Hogan's the only one that's still alive. Match from like 94 or something. It's not, not that long ago.
Yeah, you have those too.
That's crazy.
Brian Pillman.
I mean, Kamala just died.
Owen.
Yeah.
And Owens was really messed up.
Horrible.
The way they did him.
And that's something Sting did every night.
Well, what'd they do?
Propelling from the ceiling on a zip cord like that.
But with Owen, what did they do? Wasn't it like they tried a new mechanism?
They used
like
a boating hook so that he could release a quick latch.
Because it was like he was fumbling with it too much, and they didn't want to make it look weird, so they had like a quick release. But instead of like holding him, it releases when you put pressure, so he just flew off. Yeah,
it was what do you call those things? Carabiner.
But a quick release, instead of locking in place, it locks open or something.
Yeah, and I think Owen's wife showed the carabiner that they used on that dark side of the ring. Oops, sorry. On that dark side of the ring, and definitely didn't look like it would support a 280-pound man,
Well, that's not the case. The mechanism is built to release, not to hold.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter if it's built to hold the man. It was just the wrong mechanism all around. So hopefully they learn their lesson. Obviously, I don't think people are doing that anymore too much. If they are, it's probably been tested 5 times.
I mean, Vince has been good about saying that he wouldn't ask anybody to do something he wouldn't do. Yeah. And he's done a lot of crazy crap, that wasn't even recorded on TV just to, prove that point.
He didn't do that.
He didn't do it that time.
And that goes back to our point.
Yeah.
Our first thing, that Vince is an asshole.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
And, I think it's all right, though, like being okay with him kind of bringing all the wrestling together from all the branches. I think it's kind of like what NFL did in a way.
With the AFL.
Well, just like way back when the NFL was first created, there was places who played football that weren't part of the league, and they're just trying to get everybody part of one national league, and that's kind of what Vince was trying to do with wrestling.
Buying the territories back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
I think merging WCW and WWF was a mistake, though.
Probably so, yeah.
I think they could have been ran as different companies, and it would have been way more beneficial.
Yeah,
they just like with the idea of Shane running one and it's running the other, just competing.
Yeah.
That's when they went far.
At that point, at that point, Vince Russo had already took a massive shit on WCW anyway. So,
yeah, there's a conspiracy theory that he was working for WWF the whole time.
Right? Yeah.
Is it Russo?
It's Vince Russo. He's credited as one of the architects behind the Attitude Era in WWF, which is DX and all the. A lot of the bad stuff too.
He's in the background. He's in the.
He was like
a creative writer.
He was a Howard Stern fan, so he was trying to add edge to the show, but when it was more kiddie and the Hulk Hogan say your prayers and eat your vitamins era into the Stone Cold flicking people off and drinking beer era.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So Russo was kind of responsible for that, adding some new ideas, and so he did a lot of good things.
Oh yeah.
And they just gave him too much control, and he just mucked it up. But there's a conspiracy theory that he was sent by WWF to destroy WCW from the inside out. It makes sense if you watch anything from WCW when he was there.
So, like any good ideas you have, just do the opposite.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's crazy.
Just go in there and try to do just the dumbest shit. Like give yourself the championship belt.
If Vince is paying you more money to do that than WCW is paying you, then why not?
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's all about the money for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what are your some of your best moments or your favorite matches?
Favorite matches. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. I think it was the first ladder match ever. Is incredible.
Oh yeah. What's that? SummerSlam?
Yeah, I believe so. He was wearing the black with the blue hearts. It was classic gear. It's just I remember a lot about that match. That was a rickety ass ladder. They didn't use the kind of ladders they use now. It was just like a painting ladder or something. So it was pretty brutal. I mean, the thing was falling apart by the end of the match. It's a miracle it even were able to finish it.
Yep. Oh, I forget which one it was. It's not the first TLC match. It's one of the TLC. It's like maybe the second or the third. Whichever one where Edge speared Jeff Hardy in midair, like from the
while he was holding the belt.
Edge was
dangling from the belt.
Yeah. So it was Edge. I think it was Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudleys in that match.
Yeah, they had a few of those because I watched the first one the other day. It didn't have that spot in it.
Yeah, that was
so good. Like they were all amazing matches. Like those TLC matches were just like super entertaining and just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and they weren't overdone yet back then. It was new and exciting, and those guys pull it off.
Oh yeah, like that. The chemistry between all six of them was just amazing.
Right. Yeah, I mentioned going back to watch like 86 through 96, and there's some early Hardy Boys matches in the 96, and it's funny. They're like short haired, like
like super like cool, like poppy and
yeah.
Like
Raven's old character Johnny Polo, if you know who that is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Brandon,
I'd say, like I saw way back when like Hogan and Andre fought, I believe.
The Silverdome.
Yeah. So that was just pretty amazing. Yeah, and then I'd say all the Royal Rumbles and everyone I caught were really fun to watch, and the DX days were really cool, and NWO. Yeah, all those times. Specifically, yeah, probably just the Hogan, Andre.
It's a fun fact about DX and NWO. Rick Rude was a founding member of both groups. Members in being in either group.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Rick Rude's a guy that should have won a championship, and I have no idea why he didn't.
Yeah, ravishing Rick Rude, man.
Yeah,
come on.
He probably pissed somebody off.
Yeah.
Or they just didn't believe in him, something like that. I don't know. I always liked. I thought like the Mankind Undertaker Boiler Room match was pretty dope.
Oh yeah,
that was a really good match.
I mean, I think all the Undertaker Mankind matches were great.
And,
yeah, that whole feud was insane.
Yeah, and Bret Hart too, man.
Anything Bret Hart did. I mean, he wasn't called the excellence of execution for nothing.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. His matches, because he carried like the one match against British Bulldog. He carried him the entire time.
Yeah, Bulldog was hung over on crack.
Yeah, just blitzed out of his mind and just out of it. Like he was done like 30 seconds or like 5 minutes into the match. He was done. Just Hart had to carry him through the entire thing.
Yeah, he's a bad.
Made him look good.
Yeah,
right. He was a worker. He worked.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. Just his everything he did was just perfection.
So during that screw job episode of Dark Side of the Ring, I think Scott Hall said that he believed they were both in on it.
Yeah.
And I believe that too, actually. That makes a lot of sense to me. That they're both in on it. And Brett's that much of a professional that he was able to just act like he was pissed about it for years.
Well, what are you talking about?
The Montreal job is Bret Hart had the championship and he was going to WCW. It would have been his last match. He's a Canadian hero, so it was a pay-per-view in Montreal. And I forget how it was supposed to go down.
He was supposed to win.
Okay.
Because he was gonna leave like with the belt, and because I don't know, some shit happened where he was gonna lose it, but he didn't like the way he was gonna do it. It's like, no, I'm just gonna keep it. Yeah, and then like Vince was like, no, I don't like that. Or so the story goes, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, no, we're not going to do it that way. But so we're going to do it like, we're just going to pin him. And then like the next night he was going to like on Raw or something, he was going to like give it up.
Right.
Just vacate the belt.
And what ended up happening was Shawn got him into his finisher, the sharpshooter, and Vince had him ring the bell.
Yep.
And Shawn got it.
And it was Earl Hebner who was ref. And, the Hebners were really good friends with the Harts. They started with Calgary Stampede Wrestling, who Stu Hart owned. Because you have Earl and Dave Hebner, they were twin brothers. So,
what about Hugh?
Hebner.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on, man.
I get my mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, he wasn't involved.
No. He was off taking pictures.
He did something with wrestling down the line at some point.
Yeah.
Well, he had wrestlers in his magazine before, I think.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah, but then the whole after the show ensued, like Brett got up, was pissed, spit in McMahon's face, punched him backstage.
Yeah, punched him right in the eye.
Yeah.
And no kisser.
But Razor says that was all worked. That Vince took the punch and everything was all choreographed.
What did Cornette say about it?
Cornette
said it wasn't.
Cornette believes it was a screw job.
Yeah.
and that he was responsible for it.
That's Jim Cornette for those who don't know. Like he's a huge
Cornette. Yeah,
he's a big figure in the
announcer too, right?
an announcer. He was more known as a manager.
Yep.
Yeah.
He managed Yokozuna. He had the tennis racket.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked his gimmick.
He's a
Even though I didn't like him.
very polarizing guy.
Looking back at him, he did well.
You probably wouldn't like him now.
He's a purist.
He's definitely opinionated, and
I like those kind of people. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, he gets angry though, and I love listening to his podcast because he has
he hates Vince Russo.
There's two other names we can't forget, guys.
Okay.
We can't forget Mouth of the South.
Oh, Jimmy Hart.
And then we can't forget
Bobby Heenan.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
JR. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got Mean Gene, too. Yeah,
that's one of the best things AEW's got going for it right now is they got Tony Schiavone and JR as their announcers.
JR, man.
Legends of the announcing.
Oh, yeah. Best
Schiavone,
announcer, the best WWF one.
And then Mean Gene was the best, interviewer.
I love Mean Gene.
Yeah. He got in between the meanest guys.
He was a player though. Like they tell stories about Mean Gene at the hotels and after the shows, and he'd just be picking up girls just for the fun of it, just to see that if he could.
Oh, they all wanted Mean. They were like
he wasn't advancing on it. He liked flirting. You know,
they just wanted to see if he was really mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they were smart back then. They used to get really short wrestling announcers to make their wrestlers look huge.
Yeah, that's smart.
Instead of getting former wrestlers, it'd make them
There's a good topic. Favorite announcers, because it's definitely JR. Like JR could just hype any situation. Like he'd get into it, and like he'd just make it 10 times better with him just yelling in the background.
He brought some realism to it.
I think Vince McMahon did a lot for announcing too.
Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
I don't know if you know Lord Alfred Hayes. He was a British cat. Lord Alfred Hayes. He was a British cat that was on the announcing team back in like the 80s. But he made it seem legitimate because he had that British accent, and so it just seemed more of like a legitimate, sports event.
Right. Yeah,
Tony Schiavone definitely from WCW as well. Love him.
Schiavone is really good. Like he got way better when he went like beyond WCW. Like he was good in WCW. Him and what's the other guy's name that was always with him?
Sabisco or Heenan?
No. I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. Guys, Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, Larry Zabisco, Heenan, Ventura for a little bit.
Mike Tenay.
Yeah.
That's the other guy. He was good. Like he was like the technical person. Like he would like have all the names for like the moves and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They worked together, for sure. There was like you said, JR was more of a hype. Like get it going.
Yeah. Jerry Lawler would be the color guy. And really didn't
Schiavone,
like
Schiavone and Tenay were like the heel or the face announcers, and Heenan was usually like the heel.
He was usually heel. Yeah.
And then
I liked Heenan very much.
he was funny.
He was funny.
You weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
King was gonna miss.
I didn't like King. Not really. I mean, it was all about the TNA with him, and I'm sure Vince made him do that, but I hated it. It seemed like some weird pervy uncle on the commentating desk.
Yeah.
And that's the other. So the other guy, I didn't really like him at first, but he was a announcer for NXT for a long time. Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah, Ranallo.
Like I really like him. I didn't like him like at first because when I would watch like videos, all I'd ever hear him do was his Mamma Mia.
Oh yeah,
that grew on me though. But he's like really good with like calling out like move names. Like
he was the only good one they had left. Now he's gone.
Yeah, he was really good in terms of like getting excited and.
Yeah, I mean Michael Cole just screamed the same thing 5 times.
Yeah.
He was the worst.
Armbar.
Yeah. You know, the people's elbow. People's elbow. It's like, you don't need to do that.
Right.
There's a thing called Echo. If you want to do that, just hit that button.
And he's been there 30 years. It's not like he's going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Who were? Because I like the ECW one too. Joey Styles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was like super animated, like
Yeah.
boss sound. Yeah. Like, ah.
Is that the guy who says, "Oh my god"?
Oh my god! Yeah.
Great.
Oh, he's great. He's got the best moment, guys.
Yep.
What about your favorite guy that says "Ready to Rumble"?
Buffer.
Is that Buffer?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just the
Michael Buffer. Yeah. There's
Buffer.
Bruce Buffer too.
Yeah. There's what? He's for boxing.
He's the UFC guy, Bruce Buffer, because Michael was charged in the UFC too much, so they just got his brother, and then he ended up
Who did boxing?
Michael.
Michael.
Michael-
until he like just I don't know. He's like expensive and like didn't he like coin or like copyright get ready to rumble or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's smart.
Yeah, I think I listened to it.
Might as
Did
well.
you know that the Foreman girl was offered to Hulk Hogan and he turned it down?
Foreman Grill.
Yeah, the George Foreman
Oh,
girl.
yeah. Yep.
Hulk Hogan Grill.
Yeah, it would have been the Hogan fat burning or whatever.
You're right.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
George
he
Foreman sounds
He
better.
tried to do one. Then he tried to do one anyway after it got popular.
Yeah, I saw it on eBay the other day.
He's
They're
like,
selling for like
"Damn."
$300 because there wasn't that many of them.
He's like, damn, I've messed up.
Yep.
No, he's legitimate. I've seen him in an interview. He legitimately, it's like one of his big regrets is passing on the Foreman grill.
Yep.
Sweet Foreman cash.
Foreman's probably like, hell yeah, thank
Oh
you.
yeah,
Thank you, Hogan.
Foreman didn't make that much from boxing. I mean, he did all right, but
He
he didn't make Tyson money.
Oh,
No.
he did it one time. Well, not Tyson.
You didn't, yeah.
Not Tyson.
He didn't make the purses.
No one
The
made-
purses in the late '90s were way more.
Yeah, I don't think any boxer made Tyson money. Besides
I think today but maybe Mayweather,
Oh,
but
Mayweather.
Mayweather has ridiculous money.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to give him that.
like Mayweather came from something too, so he had a head start. You know, being a famous boxer's kid, he had a lot easier road than Tyson did.
Yeah, we
True.
trained in Detroit too.
Yeah, he's a Detroit boy.
Mm-hmm. What do you know?
Yeah, a lot of heels from Detroit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Me, Brad.
yeah. I mean,
I would definitely be a heel if I was.
well, it's because the Sheik was the Detroit trainer, and he was like one of the best heels ever. But not in boxing, obviously. But I guess I'd mix the two there.
They
Yeah.
probably were friends. You know,
They might have knew each other.
all working out in the gym.
They all knew the same promoters. You know,
Yeah.
Don King was a wrestling promoter as well. So,
Oh yeah, that guy.
Mhm.
So then I think last subject here, wrestling games. So I like video games.
No Mercy
That's one, yeah, No Mercy, right?
for
I think
sure.
No Mercy is one of the best, like one of the better ones.
My favorite ever.
What's the one that's like pin him?
Pin him.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Pin him.
That's like Royal Rumble or
Pin
something.
him.
Like Sega Royal Rumble, I think.
Just kidding. Yeah, I can't remember the names of any of the games, but
You
No
remember
Mercy.
No Mercy, don't you?
I do remember
Yeah.
No Mercy, and I do remember, that old school style. Was that like 64?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As one of the AKI games. Those are like the holy grail of wrestling games.
it was a great game. Yeah,
They made WCW NWO Revenge too, which
That
is
was
like
good.
the other
Dope as
really good
hell.
wrestling game.
And they made I think did they make Here Comes the Pain, like SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, because Here Comes the Pain's a dope like game too.
I never
The
played that.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
nah, never. I might have.
There's a huge gap between me and wrestling games, and I think the first one I picked back up is 19, like a couple years ago.
But we got a recent one, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
fun
cool.
game
You can
style.
download all the community
Do
wrestlers. and
Royal
stuff.
Rumble.
Well, you can get like a PlayStation 2 emulator for free, and you can get if you ever decide to do that.
I think I've seen somebody stream it before.
Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. I don't know. It was just it had a lot to like. It was a lot like No Mercy because it's saying like THQ was into it.
Oh.
So with them, it was THQ and who would you say the other people were?
Aki.
Yeah, they like those two. They made some dope like wrestling games, and they got back into it, and they took it to that level because it had a lot of the same mechanics and a lot of customization, but they had like cool storylines. And
well, it's funny because the early generation of 3D wrestling games, N64 blew everything out of the freaking water.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
For whatever reason.
PlayStation got its ass handed to them like. Easily.
Yeah, the PlayStation wrestling games were terrible.
Yeah, I remember playing those games at y'all's house at some point.
Probably. Yeah,
it was just awful. Like the game just sucked.
Yeah, because I don't think we got a 64 until like I think it was when Donkey Kong 64 came out, so it was like a couple of years after it came out.
Yeah, 64 was definitely up on their shit.
They had like the shitty WCW games, and then like the WWE like F games weren't nearly as bad, but they weren't nowhere near like No Mercy. Like oh
yeah, you could make anything on No Mercy. I mean, it was one of the best character creators ever. Still,
yeah, it had like the background or the backstage fights and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and weapons probably.
Yeah, that was that was as big of a push forward as Super Mario 64 was for platformers as far as wrestling video games.
Yep, absolutely. I just remember just playing No Mercy for hours.
Oh yeah,
just doing like because you could like do that. Like, obviously, you do that. You have the time, but just like different things you could do. All the different like championship.
There's like a 100-man Royal Rumble mode that was super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game, and it was perfect for Nintendo 64 with the 4 controllers.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's when, like, they had like the Titantron videos that would have come out. You can like choose your entrance and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
and the music, and
that's really cool.
Yeah,
when you can make the pyrotechnics come out and all that.
Yeah, they went from sprite-based games to that. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. They don't do as much now as they used to in that game.
They could do a lot more. Yeah, I agree. It's like Madden. They just kind of fall into making the same game over and over.
Copy and paste like FIFA.
Yeah, and that's going to go away soon because people are getting pissed about that stuff.
Right. Absolutely, man.
I hope it does, or else I just might lose interest. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully they give up that, or NFL is smart to not re-sign that exclusive with EA.
Yeah, let 2K get a shot at it. They did good in the early 2000s. It'd be great. Competition's good.
2K made one of the best football games ever, man. 2K5.
Yeah. So, what is it? AEW? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're on TNT where WCW was back in the day.
Do you see the future with them, or do you see WWE taking back? Because now they're on like regular TV, right? WWE.
WWE is on Fox and USA.
Right.
AEW's on TNT. They're both on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
Well, NXT and AEW are on Wednesday nights. They're competing. It's kind of a new war.
Oh, so something.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if NXT. I mean, NXT is probably
NXT's a better product right now.
Yeah, it's a better product for sure.
It's wrestling focused instead of the acting and theatrical garbage that I get a little too much of.
Right on.
Yeah, they have amazing matches. They just reintroduced War Games like a year ago or so.
Yeah, they did it in your house too. They're taking a lot of the old pay-per-views and using them as NXT pay-per-views, which is a good move. And that's
good.
Hunter.
Yeah, so that's good on Triple H, man. He's the one behind that one.
That's Hunter and Sean, who are both bald now, and it kills my childhood.
Yeah. I think that's definitely it. Honestly, I don't know how long like WWE can sustain itself. the way it's going, especially with the changes.
It's a waiting game on when Vince dies. I mean, I hate to be crude, but it's very clear that once he goes, that, you know, whether it be Shane or Triple H or, you know, whatever, something's gonna, you know, there's gonna be huge changes in how things go.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in the old,
and they're in the PG era right now.
Well, did you see? Actually, they did a pretty good thing with NXT. One of the takeovers. Did you see them with the Pat McAfee?
Yeah, that was great.
Dude, the way they sold that was awesome. Like McAfee's
a hell of a wrestler. I didn't realize he had skills.
Dude's an athlete. Yeah, oh yeah. He has a ring in his arm.
Kick a field goal blindfolded.
Yeah, he has his own ring, so he'd been training there in that thing. But like, because they first started like the feud on Pat's show.
I listened to his show. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, like I could tell right away. I'm like, oh, they're working this. Like,
I knew that, but they fooled people.
They did. Oh yeah, they did really good. The way they actually presented it and played it out, like it looked really good.
Right, because Pat's always a jokester, so he's like, that's some fake shit, you know, whatever.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, Pat pulled it off, man. Like, and I don't think Adam Cole, people were saying like how impressed they were with like Pat McAfee and how good he was.
Well, Cornette was shitting on Pat McAfee at first, but when they first started their feud, and then Cornette even warmed up to McAfee, and he was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, dude, he's an athlete. Like, he's good. Like, and he can perform.
Yeah, he's trained by Rip Rogers. He's one of the best trainers there is. So
yeah, and he's like athletic. I mean, he was, you know, kicker in football, but like he was a pretty big dude, and he can move, and he can play. Like, he's I say he's an athlete. He can play, he can ball, he can do all this stuff. I think one of his biggest traits for when it comes to wrestling is just his ability to perform. And like the whole, like, I think I don't know. There's like the one part during one of the NXT shows, he like kicked Adam Cole in the head. He like, it looked good though. Like it looked like he fucked him up.
Yeah, I hope McAfee can do stuff more full time with them. I mean, not full time, but kind of like Brock Lesnar does, just show up every once in a while.
Yeah, that'd be good. I don't know if he's like too interested in me with his knee issues. That's why he retired. Well, it's part of the reason why he retires, because like he his knee was pretty torn up.
But to address Brandon's question, AEW and WWF serve completely different roles right now. Because AEW, they're allowed to swear. Everybody pretty much comes up with their own material. It's a lot more organic. WWF is so overproduced and overwritten, in my opinion, that everybody seems fake. There's like a couple people that can pull it off.
They're just trying to find like the new Macho and basically call him Macho with the same specials.
Or the next John Cena, I guess.
I'm just saying, though, like trying to find the old guy and then be like, okay, now you're him.
Right.
And they've been doing that for 30 years.
Right.
It was cool when they first did it. Now it's not.
They're not letting these guys get themselves over. They're trying to. They're having comedy writers and soap opera writers think that they know what the wrestling business, you know, how to get over.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like the way, like the same kind of way the beer industry went. Like for a while, it was just like a few big beers, and then all of a sudden, like it went into the craft beer kind of style. So I think it's gonna be more like the smaller promotions that kind of maybe start building up again. Not like real small, but just like some variations where it's.
And AEW helps these smaller promotions too, because they're newer than these guys, but they're bigger.
Right.
And so, like guys like Ring of Honor and Impact that are
Lucha Underground.
Yeah, NWA. Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins owns the NWA now.
Yep.
And honestly, like with wrestling, they don't have to go city to city because, first of all, you can't even have anybody at the events half the time with COVID. So I think you're right, Andrew. Like, there's going to be a lot more like small time, like, YouTube channel type people coming out and making it semi big. Then another group like that making it semi big. So it might revert back to where it was because of all the internet.
There's a lot of people that are tired of the WWF way or WWE way of things. And
and that's, there's a lot of these feeder promotions too, like that people came through, like Kevin Owens and
Ohio Valley Wrestling.
What's the dude's name that's like really big in WWE, and I can't think of his name.
Daniel Bryan.
No, but him too. Sami Zayn, all those guys, like they came up through those smaller promotions. So I think those things have big followings. Like they're not nationally televised, but they have like a lot of fans. Like their shows are usually packed.
That's how WCW started. It was Atlanta,
right?
Georgia.
What's the guy's name? Keith
Lee.
Keith Lee. Yeah, he came up with that stuff too.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Keith Lee, but I like him. I just wish they'd give him more to work with.
For his size, like he's athletic and he's agile as fuck. There was this one dude who had like a YouTube channel that had like just compilations of things, and it would include like all kinds of the promotions, like the ones you mentioned, Ring of Honor, Gorilla.
Yeah, Gorilla. That's where Excalibur, one of the announcers for AEW, came from.
Yep, and like CZW. Like I'm not down with CZW. I think they're all just about that violence. But I mean, just place like that, he would just showcase all these things. You could see just a bunch of different styles and different federations and all like promotions. Yeah. So
there's thousands of people that want to be wrestlers, and there's only like 200 spots in the big two. So there's plenty of room for these smaller promotions.
And then, then there's a whole Japanese side of things, but we won't go into that. So yeah, man. I mean, I think wrestling stays around for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. There's a lot of tradition in it, and
it's just good entertainment, and
it is. And there's also a lot of, basically they're like names you would just remember, like the Hogan name and the Flair name. Those names aren't going away anytime quick.
That's cool. I mean, what other business do you want people to hate you in certain circumstances? Like, like you're happy if you're a heel and you're getting booed.
You can change it up at least. If you get bored, you can do something new.
Yeah, you can reinvent yourself all the time. Chris Jericho has like 5 different times.
Yeah, and Mankind and Mick Foley and
for sure.
Love and Cactus Jack.
Triple H cut his hair one time. No, the same guy, but he
wasn't even wrestler. He wasn't even like a real popular guy.
He married the boss's daughter.
The end of watching wrestling.
Straight way to the top. Marry the boss's daughter.
I always didn't like him. Let's not forget Hunter Hearst.
Could have been Macho Man. There's always that rumor that Stephanie and Macho Man.
If only what would have been.
Oh, if it was Macho Man WWF, it would have been way better.
Yeah,
that's true. Oh yeah.
No, but apparently that didn't happen. But I like to believe it did.
Snap into it.
Who knows?
There's enough people who said it did that it probably did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Either way, it's wrestling, so you can just say it happened, and yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's now just Vince just needs to fucking pay his people and give them health care.
Yeah, go retire on an island for 10 years.
Well, you see what he's doing now, right? Yeah, private contractor, but they can't like promote themselves or like be on any social media
or Cameo or
why
YouTube
the fuck did you swear, Brad?
I sweard a lot. There for a second.
So why the fuck did you do that?
Anyway, but yeah, that's Andrew Yang's going after them. It's like, hey, your private contractors can't be told what to do in this circumstance,
right? So that's kind of why I see. It's kind of a little bit of a downfall with WWE's. Why
I hope Yang gives them help. And AEW picks up the pieces. Really,
that's kind of what I'm looking at. Is like there's going to be a bit of a downfall and make some room open up for other people.
Yeah, the Cons have a lot of money. They're not a small fish. They can compete with Vince. So if he screws up, they'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope to see that, man, because I would like to see.
They're not trying to make friends, at least with them. They're not. It's pretty much them and everybody else against the big guys.
Go team, not McMahon.
Yeah. And AEW has some issues, but they'll get better once they get some of that talent that's over there.
What's our lesson here again that we started with?
Fuck Vince. Yeah.
Fuck Vince. Vince is an asshole.
Yeah.
Vince is an asshole. There it is. That's all I say.
But I will acknowledge
White privilege.
he was a genius. And
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Wouldn't be here without him, but now he's an asshole. Well, he has always been an asshole, but now he's more pronounced.
Now he's an all about a touch asshole.
But respect to that asshole. He got rich somehow.
Yeah.
He came from a trailer park.
Oh.
Yep.
There you go. All right, man.
All right, guys. That went a lot longer than I thought it would.
Well, so yeah, we're gonna call it a night. And thanks for listening. And that was actually a lot of fun reminiscing. 'Cause wrestling is one of my favorite things. Like in life.
I wasn't sure how that was going to go. So
yeah, we'll have to catch back up. Have Brad on again.
Maybe get some other voices in.
Yeah, get like Jared and Chris in.
Wrestling number 2.
Yeah,
right.
And just keep it going. We're kind of nerdy, so
Oh yeah,
everybody doesn't
nerdy.
have to tune into all our episodes if you don't like wrestling or don't like all the other topics. But
I can get nerdy about video games and sports too.
We'll go there eventually.
Yeah, but be sure to give us a like and all that fun stuff, and subscribe to us on YouTube, because we'll be putting all the new episodes as premieres along with the release. So check us out there, subscribe so more people can see us.
Yep. Thanks for coming by, Brad.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks, Brad.
I'll see you around.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.